Hey everyone, welcome to Echoes from the Basement, an X-Files podcast. I'm your host Alice, and each week I revisit a classic episode of the X-Files while sharing my take on the strange and mysterious adventures of Agents Scully and Mulder. And who knows, I might even make a believer out of you. What's going on, guys? Happy Wednesday. We're almost to the weekend. Let's get into it. We're on episode 18, Miracle Man in Kenwood, Tennessee, 1983. A fire rages on as firefighters scramble to put it out. These brave men are trying to forcibly cut a driver out of their overturned car. A crowd watches as these firefighters try to save this man's life. A paramedic wheels a deceased person from the car into the ambulance. On the way, the fire chief asks the medical personnel, what is he doing? The paramedic replies he's dead. The fire chief orders the paramedic to leave the man and help the other victim of the car crash. We see a man and a child arrive. The man is holding a Bible. He unzips the bag where the deceased man is being held. The little boy exclaims, I want you to rise and heal. A firefighter tries to intervene, but the boy continues trying to heal the dead man, telling him to rise up and accept this miracle. The boy grabs the dead man's hand. The firefighter looks on in confusion. The audience looks upon the little boy who keeps chanting. The firefighter tells the group of onlookers to leave. We then hear the sound of an organ playing. The man who was once dead rises again. He touches the boy's healing hand. We see a crowd of church attendees clapping and celebrating in this makeshift worship area, a tent. A preacher man shakes everyone's hand and exclaims hallelujah into the microphone. The man was with the little boy in the first scene makes his way to the front of the church. He's a preacher. He works the crowd a bit while a woman lays down on a table waiting for something. Scully pauses the video and states that the woman on the table has a tumor on her spine and the little boy is going to heal her by only touching her. Mulder's watching the video. Sure. Scully fills Mulder in on the video, saying that it came from their Tennessee branch. She then tries to say the preacher's name, but Mulder interrupts her and states, Reverend Calvin Hartley. He continues, the boy is his adopted son, Samuel. His lore is that the preacher found him as an infant amongst the tall weeds and muddy banks of the Mississippi. Scully states, did you know the Reverend claims that the boy brought a man back from the dead? Mulder replies, it's no claim. The man is alive and frequents the ministry tent, and the boy has been performing miracles for the past 10 years. Now, I'm wondering, does that interfere with child labor laws? The local police think the Reverend and his son are both scammers, Scully states. The authorities have been trying to shut down the church, but no luck. They are now looking for help from the FBI. Mulder asks, for fraud? Scully replies, no, for murder. She continues playing the tape. The video shows Lucy Kelly, the woman with the spinal tumor, and the Reverend. The preacher states the Lord can cure the woman's incurable cancer. Everybody yells, amen. The not-so-little boy, who appears to be a teenager at this point, is holding Lucy's hand. The Reverend states that Samuel has God's healing hands. The TV turns black. Scully turns to Mulder and says 20 minutes later, Lucy was rushed to the hospital and pronounced dead on arrival. The two agents didn't know how she died, but it definitely wasn't cancer. Scully continues, saying that the local police need somebody with a medical background to assist in the investigation. Intrigued, Mulder asks, when do we leave for Tennessee? The two agents jump on a plane and pay the Reverend in a church a visit. There's an elaborate sign with the name of the church. It's called the Miracle Ministry, and people are walking around in t-shirts and hats supporting this establishment. It reminds me of the Gravity Fall episode where the twins and Grunkle Stan meet little Gideon, the psychic boy that can tell the future. He ends up turning out to be a fraud. He also set up a tent. It was called the Tent of Telepathy. So anyway, the two agents shuffle through the crowd of people that are coming and going from the tent. They enter a local police officer leaves his wife in the car, telling her that he won't be long. The Reverend gives a speech about how people have traveled extremely far just for a miracle. He then says he needs to apologize. Samuel can't be here this afternoon. What a coincidence. The FBI and the police come and there's no Samuel. Samuel will be back in 2 days, the Reverend shouts. The audience claps. The preacher begins to bring people on the stage to testify that Samuel does have healing hands, but only for people who are believers. Scully and Mulder look on. The two agents ambush the preacher as he makes his way out of the Miracle Ministry tent. Scully asks the man if they can talk to him about Samuel. The Reverend says he isn't here. He doesn't know where the boy went. He continues, the boy has been in trouble lately. A man in a black suit and hat tells the Reverend that they're going to be late, and the two individuals get into the car and drive away. The police officer from before approaches the two agents. His name is Sheriff Daniels. They all introduce themselves. He hands Scully a copy of the coroner's report. The group walk together, and Sheriff Daniels says, I see you guys got to witness the show. He remembers when Hartley was originally a soapbox preacher, just collecting dollar bills in a tin can. When Samuel joined the act, the preacher now drives a brand new Cadillac for every day of the week. The Reverend definitely has some FU money. Mulder states that the people want to believe. The sheriff says, yeah, but most people in the world are fools. Mulder replies, even if these two are fakes, you just can't accuse them of murder. The sheriff says that he has a witness reports of the boy laying hands on those people when they died. Mulder questions the police officer. He says, do you think the boy killed those people with just his touch? The sheriff states, they have been looking for the boy since Tuesday. Scully interrupts and says that nothing is suspicious about these reports, but the fact that none of these people were autopsied. The sheriff says that the Reverend blocked any request for an autopsy to be performed. The local coroner is also a church attendee, so he's definitely not doing those autopsies. Scully suggests that the bodies be exhumed. The construction equipment loudly digs up somebody's grave as the agents and local police officers watch. A crowd of people holding candles approach them. It looks like an angry mob. The sheriff states the Reverend's group found out about what they are doing. The man from before in the black suit angrily says, we demand you to stop digging up that body. It's sacrilegious. Sheriff Daniel says, you're not just dealing with me, Vance. The FBI is also here. Scully says, Vance, we don't mean any disrespect, but federal law requires us to do this in a homicide case. Vance hisses out, we have to answer to a higher authority, God. Grave digging and defiling a corpse is a sin. Sheriff Daniels tells Vance that the autopsy will be done. Vance spews out that the family of deceased does not want her to be dug up. The officer files back Carol Wallace had no family. But Vance plays another card. He says that they were her family. He rants on about how it was hard to bury her the first time, and we are prepared a non-stop vigil for her right now. We will do whatever it takes to stop you, Scully, Mulder, and the police officer. The sheriff calls Scully and Mulder for a secret meeting. He states that one of his men have spotted Samuel's car downtown. The team gives up on digging the grave to focus on Samuel. They all make their way downtown, and police cars cruise down alleyways looking for Samuel. They come across a suspicious bar where the young man frequents. Scully, Mulder, and the sheriff exit the car to find him. Bar patrons and staff are picking up a huge mess. The sheriff asks the bar staff, where is the boy? The worker replies, he's using the restroom. Mulder states, what happened here? The staff says Samuel started a fight. We see the boy emerge from the bathroom, swaying back and forth. He has a cut across his face. Sheriff Daniel asks, where have you been, Samuel? We've been looking for you. I'm putting you under arrest. The boy looks up and states, for murder? For suspicion of one, replies the officer. Daniels let the teenager finish his beer while he figures out how to get the young man's car towed. Before the cop could leave, Mulder asks, what evidence do you have to charge Samuel with murder? The police officers replied, the boy is giving himself up. Isn't that enough evidence right there? Mulder shoots back, he's drunk. Sheriff Daniel just doesn't care. It's not about if the boy is guilty, it's about how he committed those crimes. Mulder approaches the young man and introduces himself and Scully. Samuel tries to act tough in front of the agents. He believes that the bar fight is penance for what he has done. The boy believes he is guilty of murder. Mulder asks, how did you do it then? Samuel replies, my pride and weakness invited the devil in. Now my gift from God is corrupted. Scully says, you killed those people just by touching them? Samuel goes on to say that he had a gift and it helped and healed the ill and the dying just by touching them. God has given me a gift. Scully fires back, did he give you all that jewelry too? Samuel yells, you doubt the power of God? No, I doubt your claims. Samuel doubles down and says, I've healed before. I have seen their pain, like I have seen on this man right here. He turns to Mulder. The agent says, really? What pain? The pain you have regarding a sibling. The pain has never been healed. Scully believes that everything that Samuel is saying is just a trick. We should get the officer, Scully states angrily. But Mulder replies, I want to hear more about this pain. Samuel tells a tale that he can see that Mulder has lost his sister when they were quite young. Someone took her. Strangers in a bright light, the young man states. The police interrupt Mulder and Samuel's conversation. I can't help you. My gift has vanished, Samuel says sadly. The police handcuff the boy and escort him out. But he turns around and gives Mulder a piece of information. He says, God watches us and gives us a sign. Open your heart, and he will open your eyes. Samuel was brought to the local courthouse to start his trial. His lawyer is asking the judge to release her client. Samuel rises from his chair and yells that it's a bad idea. Do not let me go. You will be responsible for my actions. The judge tells Samuel to sit down and be quiet. Mulder and Scully watch the trial wage on. The opposing lawyer suggests that the judge set Samuel's bail to $100,000. The judge goes ahead and sets the bail to that price. He continues until he is interrupted by locusts flying around the courtroom. The area fills with these insects attacking everyone in sight. Locusts can be seen on every inch of the courtroom. Samuel panics and asks the courtroom, how much more proof do you need? How much proof do you need to believe now? The Lord has testified against me. Do you understand? People push each other out of the way to escape the room. Samuel stands and raises his hand towards the ceiling. Scully examines the insects while Mulder reads a Bible verse on them. Mulder believes that this is a sign of end times, while Scully believes that a few thousand grasshoppers are not a sign of the plague. She explains that anybody could buy these insects. Farms usually had them. And farms are also infested with locusts. They could be anywhere. Mulder says, yeah, maybe in a field, but not in a courtroom. Scully asks Mulder, does this have something to do with Samuel and what he said to you? Mulder hands Scully documents of the people that Samuel has healed when modern medicine didn't. Mulder states that he has seen a psychic healer before in X-Files cases, but none that are like Samuel. I think this kid is for real. Scully shoots back, there are medical libraries explaining unexplained and spontaneous cures. Mulder fires back that Western medicine sees the body in biochemical terms, but the body can be electromagnetic as well. Scully asks, your theory is that Samuel can repair this electromagnetic field and then also destroy it? Why would Samuel want to kill with just his touch? There's a sudden knock on the hotel door. The two agents open it and see Vance once again. He says the Reverend would like to see the two agents. Scully and Mulder look towards each other in shock and drive to the preacher's mansion. Hartley states that he has been stressed, that's why he was rude from before, and please forgive him. Mulder asks, why did you want to see us? I need your help, the Reverend states. Samuel is innocent. Mulder asks, how could you be so sure? Because he is my son, the preacher replies. But the two agents say that doesn't hold up in court. The Reverend says you have to understand it's complicated. The boy feels things. He's sensitive. Samuel's power comes from his ability to feel, but some people fear that power and seek to destroy it, says the Reverend. You mean the sheriff? Scully asks. He replies, the sheriff has been trying to close me down for years. He is a faithless man. His wife suffers from arthritis, and he doesn't want Samuel to heal her. Scully fires back, well, because of the recent events, I can see why. The Reverend says, I'm not sure how those people died. I am asking you to come to the tent tonight and see Samuel's work. Mulder sees a little girl out of the corner of his eye plain as day, waiting for him outside. He runs after her, but the girl vanishes. Mulder asks a worker out there, did you see where the little girl went? The man replies, there wasn't a little girl here. Mulder looks up and locks eyes with Samuel from the window upstairs. Scully calls for Mulder and asks what's wrong. It's a little girl, Mulder replies. The two agents arrive at the tent and are greeted by people wearing Samuel's face on their shirts. Vance is greeting everyone. A woman in a wheelchair enters with her family. Vance greets them and says, "Don't mind what the papers say about Samuel. He's gonna be here tonight and he's gonna heal you." The woman in the wheelchair asks, will he be able to see me? Vance says that he is going to put a special word in for her, and she's going to be able to sit right in the front row. Samuel, on the other hand, is getting cold feet. He tells his father that he refuses to go out there. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. The Reverend says this is all a test from God. Because God gave you that gift, he's just testing you the hardest. Vance joins him backstage. Samuel and his father have a moment. They look into each other's eyes, and his father says, "Preaching is my gift, but healing is yours. You saved Vance's life, you can save others." The choir and the band play joyfully. Scully, Mulder, and the sheriff enter the tent. People are clapping to the beat, just waiting to be healed. Hartley enters the stage and starts his sermon. He says, "God is here. I feel him." Mulder and Scully are past the donation bowl. Scully snarks to Mulder, apparently miracles don't come cheap. Hartley talks about how there is a man here that went against God's wishes and came back from the dead. It's Vance. He grabs the mic and recites a Bible verse. Vance says, "I owe my life to Samuel, and he is here right now." Mulder looks to the side and sees a little girl from before. Samuel enters the stage, but Mulder rushes after the girl while Samuel greets the audience. When Mulder makes it to that corner, the little girl has vanished. Samuel meets with the woman in the wheelchair. He looks at her at eye level. He kindly says, "Pray with me." The woman is crying, praying, and hoping to be healed. Mulder continues frantically searching for the little girl. Samuel tells the woman to close her eyes. He gently strokes her face. He hopes to heal her, but something goes wrong. The woman starts to choke. Her family panics and says, "What have you done?" Scully rushes to her side. The woman seems to be having a seizure. Scully asks for someone to call an ambulance. The woman tilts her head forward and stops moving. Scully checks her pulse. She's dead. Her family weeps. Everyone stares at the family, not knowing what to do and still trying to process what they just witnessed. We see that Vance is preaching outside the Kenwood County Hospital. He is trying to convince a mourning crowd not to have the wheelchair's lady's body autopsied. He insists that doing this procedure will slay her soul and her body needs to stay intact. Scully and Mulder tried to convince the woman's family to have her body autopsied. Reverend Hartley says an autopsy goes against the Word of God and the Bible. Scully asks, "What illness did your daughter suffer from, Mr. Holman?" The father replies, "MS." Scully follows up with, "Has she ever had a seizure before?" He replies, "No." Scully says she believes that the woman had an aneurysm. She tells the father, "Are you going to be content bearing with her if you don't know the truth?" Without knowing if foul play was involved, the man talks to his wife, who is visibly shaken up by this event. Mulder asks, "Do you think Samuel did this?" Scully replies, "No." She goes on to say that she was raised Catholic and is familiar with some parts of the Bible. God would never let the devil steal the show. Mulder jokingly says, "You must have loved watching The Exorcist," and Scully replies back, "It was my favorite." "Who were you chasing in the crowd, Mulder?" Scully states. He replies, "I thought I saw a familiar someone." Scully says, "The boy's really getting to you." Mulder says, "Why do you say that?" She replies, "Samuel mentioned your sister. Is she the one that you keep seeing?" Mulder admits that he has seen her twice now. Scully theorizes that Mulder just wants to see his sister. Mulder brushes Scully off. The agent goes on to say, "Don't discount it. The willingness to believe in the power of suggestion." Mulder states, "You think Margaret Holman was imagining all of this?" The father, Mr. Holman, approaches the agents. He says he will give his permission for the autopsy. In the morgue, Scully prepares to start her investigation. She documents everything into her tape recorder. We see Margaret's lifeless body on the operating table. Time ticks away. Scully begs Mulder to come look at what she has found. Lesions on the lungs, Scully points out. Her theory is that Margaret died from lack of oxygen to the cells. Because of this, Scully believes that Margaret was poisoned. Scully says that she will also run a toxicology report on the woman, and the results will be in by the morning. Mulder says that he wants it as soon as possible. So Mulder pays a visit to Samuel in the Kenwood County Jail. He asks, "What do you want, Agent Mulder?" He replies, "I just want to talk." Mulder enters the cell and informs Samuel that Sheriff Daniels is on the way. I'm going to ask him to release you. Samuel is shocked. Why are you doing this? He cries. Mulder states, did you poison Margaret? Samuel is blown away. Did I poison her? He says. What are you talking about? Mulder states, you're innocent, Samuel. Someone else killed that woman, but it wasn't you. Samuel insists that he is the one responsible. The police will be forced to release you after they see the evidence tomorrow. Just go home, Samuel, Mulder replies. The boy says if you think you need to be punished for some of those deaths. Mulder replies, Samuel, if you think you need to be punished for those people's deaths, then you're wrong. Samuel interrupts and says, it's God's will. He is punishing me. Mulder fires back, I cannot argue that, but I do know that you are innocent. The agent looks into Samuel's eyes and states, you said you could see my pain. Look at me now. What do you see? Nothing. I am blind, Samuel replies. I don't believe you, Mulder states. I've seen her. It was her. You made her appear to me, my sister, he shouts. Is she alive, or is this just all a trick? Samuel turns to Mulder and says, a trick of the devil? Mulder yells for the officer. The agent leaves. As he's walking through the jail, he sees Officer Daniels. Release the boy, Mulder says. The sheriff replies, why? He's innocent. The police don't believe it. Mulder advises the officer to release the boy or the killer will keep on killing. An officer allows two men to enter Samuel's cell, and trigger warning, they brutally beat the boy. There's a ring at the sheriff's door. It's another officer. He informs the sheriff that there was an incident in the jail and Samuel is dead. The paramedics are ruling out Samuel's body into the ambulance. The group, Scully, Mulder, and Sheriff Daniels, all watch. Scully asks, how could this happen? He was alone. The sheriff informs the agent that the boy started a fight with other inmates. The Reverend screams at the officer, saying Samuel's blood is on his hands. How long are you going to hide? Asks the preacher. Scully tells the Reverend that they are sorry for what happened to Samuel. Hartley starts to cry, saying that the boy would never hurt anybody. Vance tries to rush the Reverend along. Mulder and Scully investigate the courtroom. She asks Mulder what are they looking for. Clues, he replies. They continue to investigate. Mulder looks up at the ceiling and spots a locust in the air vent. The two agents climb on the roof, and Mulder finds pieces of potatoes. It's a trail. We see that someone has left this trail into the ventilation system that leads into the courtroom. This would cause an instant plague. Scully asks, where did they come from? Mulder says, biological farms? It shouldn't be too hard to find out who planted them. They are the one that murdered these people. Thunder roars at the preacher's home. Vance tosses and turns in his bed. Samuel visits and it scares the man awake. Vance approaches Samuel, saying, they killed you. Samuel replies, I was dead. Why did you betray me? It seems that the boy is now a ghost. Vance tries to hurt Samuel, but no use. Why did you kill those people? They wanted to be healed by me, and you murdered them. After everything I've done for you, like giving you back your life? Vance screams, you call this a life? A knock at the door, it's Scully and Mulder and Sheriff Daniels. They have a warrant for Vance. They ask, where is he? We found his name on the pesticide company in Knoxville. Vance was the one that purchased these chemicals to kill people. Vance whimpers in his bed, scars covering his body. The group, along with the Reverend, enter his room. He keeps muttering, I betrayed him. Scully smells his cup, cyanide. We have to get him to the hospital ourselves. We do not have enough time. He's gonna die here. Why didn't he let me die, mumbles Vance. Beware of false prophet. Continues. I thought Samuel was a wolf. Why would he bring me back? Samuel was here. He forgave me. Those are Vance's last words. Scully is writing her report on the incident, stating how Vance did everything to sabotage the church and Samuel. Mulder looks at a photo of a girl we've seen before. It's his sister. Scully continues, saying that she is doubtful that there had been any miracles performed in that tent. The phone rings. Mulder answers. He knocks on Scully's door. He says Samuel's body is missing from the morgue. The two agents investigate the morgue and they never find Samuel's body. One witness did see something though. A night nurse says she saw Samuel walk out on his own. The nurse recounts her story of Samuel leaving. She looked away for just 1 second and he turned a corner and she lost him. He vanished and his body was gone. The sheriff doesn't believe her. She shouts, I am not the only one that saw him. Other people did. It was Samuel. I'm not crazy. The sheriff walked back to his house after an insanely long night. He and his wife are reading the paper about Samuel's death. His wife is calling Samuel a fake. But she questions, isn't he? Is he? His wife pleads. The officer looks away and doesn't answer. There's a knock at his door. Sheriff Daniels answers. It's another officer. He says, "Sir, you need to come with me. The district attorney wants to ask you some questions about the boy's death." Scully and Mulder watch the miracle tent being taken down. They talk about the case and how people are praying too hard for miracles. The episode ends with a final image of the little girl. Mulder turns around and she's gone. This episode is interesting. When I first watched it, I would have never guessed the killer was Vance. How could he kill Samuel when this young man gifted him a new life? I often wonder how Samuel received these powers. Was it from God or just the power of suggestion? Overall, a great episode to watch, and my questions to you guys are, do you believe in miracles, and can someone really heal you with just by touch? Was Samuel really a miracle worker or just a scam artist? Should Vance have killed Samuel just because he thought the boy was a false prophet? Let me know in the comments below or comment on my Instagram page at Echoes from the Basement. And that's it. Thanks for listening, all you truth seekers, abductees, and X-Files enthusiasts. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the show. And remember, the truth is out there. You just have to find it.